Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about email marketing with MailChimp. Now if you have never used MailChimp before and you typically use other autoresponders like Aweber, GetResponse, GVO, I know that MailChimp kind of seems out there because it's just it's not one of those things that most like CPA marketers use. But for e-commerce, MailChimp is an amazing email platform, and there are many benefits to using MailChimp. So one of the first things is they have a Shopify app. So this is an autoresponder that built an app specifically to integrate with e-commerce stores like Shopify. And this is a really good thing because one of the hardest things to get past with most autoresponders is double opt-ins, meaning people opt into your email list and they have to reconfirm that they want to be on your email list before you can actually send to them. With MailChimp, everything goes through the API. MailChimp sees that they really did opt in, so you don't have to worry about double opt-ins or anything like that. Your leads hit your account instantly, automatically approved, and you can send to them, and that's what I like about it. Another thing is you can see exactly how much revenue your emails generate for you. So I started out emailing my e-commerce leads through another autoresponder that did not connect to MailChimp. And I had no clue how much money I was making when I sent emails. I mean, you can tag things through Google Analytics and stuff like that, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. So when I started using MailChimp and I could send out an email and instantly see how much money that email was making me inside of MailChimp, it changed the way I do email marketing. I started to learn what subject lines were working the best. I started to learn what items people were clicking on and viewing the most and purchasing. It literally tells you exactly what people buy directly from your emails. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in just a little bit. So another thing that it does is leads and customers, I think I already said this, are automatically imported to your list. But I want to point out that it's not just your buyers. MailChimp, since it uses the API, will anybody that creates an account on your e-commerce store, anybody that goes through the add to cart process, puts in their name and email information, as long as you have the by default accept email promotions checked in Shopify, which I did a whole video on that and showed you exactly how it was done, it will pass through the leads, not just the buyers. So now your email list is going to grow way faster, probably 2 to 3 times faster, because you're collecting leads that purchased and almost purchased. So you can send follow-up emails to leads that almost purchased, bring them back to your store and turn them into buyers. And this is why my email list is so powerful. Other things that MailChimp will pass over to Shopify is the buyer information, whether they're a buyer or a non-buyer. They'll pass over what item the customer purchased. So if you have a complimentary item, for instance, let's say somebody buys a t-shirt on it that says Proud Grandma. You can have an autoresponder set up in MailChimp that will automatically send that buyer an email saying, hey, add this coffee mug, this Proud Grandma coffee mug to your order for 10% off. And basically just have a link where they can go buy the coffee mug at a discount. So you're able to make an upsell through email marketing. I do this and I have a campaign that's made me thousands of extra dollars. As soon as somebody buys a product, boom, they get an email, and I make them buy a second product, or I offer them a second product. I don't make them, but ultimately they end up buying, and it makes me thousands of extra dollars. Also, it passes over how much money the customer has spent. So if your customer is a big spender or a small spender, and you can send them different items based off of that information. So MailChimp, for me right now, I believe is the best way to mail your leads for e-commerce. And I love that it integrates and connects through a Shopify app. All of your leads are passed straight in there automatically. There's no importing of your list. There's no double opt-ins, and you can see all of the information about your emails and the revenue they generate, and it just makes life easy. So let's jump over to MailChimp real quick. Okay, so in this video, I just want to walk through the basics. I want to walk through the basics and just signing up for an account. But first, I want to show you a couple of things. So MailChimp will allow you to see some pretty awesome reports with the typical information, but they'll also show you the amount of revenue that you've generated. They have a great email editor. It's drag and drop. It's very, very simple. Probably one of the simplest editors I've ever used. And here's where you can start looking at some pretty awesome reports on your emails that help you send better targeted emails. So it's a really nice platform, and it's free for you to create an account and start getting leads. But at some point they do start charging you. I think once you get over 100 leads or something like that. So let's go ahead and hit sign up. Now right here is where you're going to put in your email address, username, and password. So make sure that you go ahead and enter this information in. Okay, now once you do that, it's going to ask you to fill out a couple of questions. So go ahead and fill these out. It doesn't really matter what you put. You can put you're less than 1 year old. You can say that you're not going to import any data from another provider. And you're going to say you are not setting this up for a client. And go ahead, enter in all of your information here. And then at the bottom, you can upload your profile photo if you like, or you can do that later. And then hit save and get started. Okay, now once you log in, you're going to have a quick little tour of everything. You're going to see your name at the top right, and it's going to give you a couple of getting started tips. One of the first things you really want to do is just hit create a list. So let's go ahead and hit create a list, and it's going to ask us to name it. So what we're going to do is name this list, and we can call it, I would put your store name customers. So whatever your store name is, I would put that here, like ESA demo is the name of my Shopify store. Now your from email is the email that people are receiving your promotions from. So I might put something in like newsletter at esademo.com. Now that is if you have your own email address set up with a domain name, okay? If you don't, I think you can put Gmail in here. So you might be able to put your Gmail address in here. So test address at gmail.com. And your from name is going to be what shows up next to the subject line. So you can do some pretty amazing things with from names. I do not suggest putting, something like support or newsletter. I suggest creating a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, just a fake name. I usually use female names. So maybe you might create a name like Kim. Okay, so this email is going to be from Kim at, and then in parentheses, you could put your store name. And that's how it would show up. All right, so you might put Kim S as like an initial or something like that. And that's how it would show up. So I've found that personal names work the best. Now remind people how they got on your list. You shopped on our store at www.mystorename.com, okay? We have our address in here. Make sure that these details are correct. And you can get these notifications if you like. Just hit save, and your list has now been created. Okay, so now your list is created. Now, typically, if you were not using the API, you would have to come in and add subscribe. You would have to do a sign up form and do all this weird code, but you don't have to do that with MailChimp. Now, really, all you have to do is connect MailChimp to your Shopify store. So let's go do that. Okay, so here we are in my Shopify store. We're going to click on Visit Shopify App Store, and I'm just going to type in MailChimp. All right, we're going to select the one with the green icon. Okay, do not get sidetracked by these other ones that look more legit. They're the one with the ugly icon. All right, hit get, and it's going to connect MailChimp to your store. You can see here you're allowing it to get product information, customer information, order information, all sorts of stuff. All right, and this is a good thing. Now you're going to hit install app, and it's going to ask you to please log in to your MailChimp account again. So let's hit log in. Now you're going to put your username in, and you're going to put your password in for your MailChimp account that you just created. So let's do that. Okay, now once that's done, you are going to have the option to connect it to specific stores and specific lists, okay? So you can see here our stores, esademo.myshopify.com. That's the little example store I've been using throughout these tutorials. Now you just hit connect a list to the store. All right, now when you hit collect a list, you should see all of the email lists that you created in your not your Shopify, but your MailChimp account that we just created. Remember, we built a list through MailChimp, and we named that list ESA Demo Customers. So there should only be one list here, and we're gonna hit start syncing. Okay, now our list is synced. Every time somebody comes to our store and buys something or even goes through the checkout process and put in their email, their information is instantly going to get passed to MailChimp, and you're going to start building a really, really big list using MailChimp. So now you can come back to the home screen of MailChimp. You'll see your list, how many subscribers and how many opens you have and how many clicks you have. And you can start looking at all of the data and checking reports and all sorts of stuff. But at first it's going to say 0. But now that we have Shopify connected to MailChimp, we're going to see this number start going up as people go through the checkout process and actually buy. Because remember, we're going to get people that hit add to cart, and we're going to get people, not people that hit add to cart, but people that went through the checkout process and people that bought. So one last thing I want to show you in this tutorial is how to make sure that you get the most subscribers possible, which is really, really important. So let's jump back over to Shopify. So when you're in Shopify, if you click on settings down here at the bottom and then click out on checkout and scroll down, 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 where is it? Up right under order processing. Make sure, see how by default it said customer does not agree to receive promotional emails? Make sure that you come here and you click on agree. Now what this is going to do is it is going to automatically check a box on your store saying that the customer agrees to receive email promotions. If they do not want to agree to receive email promotions, they have to uncheck the box. Most people do not uncheck it. But if you have this where it's automatically unchecked, then you're probably not going to get a lot of email subscribers, because not many people just go in and check that box. They usually don't even see it probably. So make sure that you have this checked where it says customer agrees to receive promotional emails, and then hit save. Otherwise, you're probably not going to build a very big list. And it's connected through the API. This is totally okay. Otherwise, the option wouldn't be available. And this is how you're going to build a big email list with MailChimp of partials, which are customers that created an account by going through the checkout process, and actual buyers. Okay, so let's jump back over to MailChimp. Now that we are in MailChimp, you'll be able to start viewing reports on everything. There's not a lot here, and you can create templates. So you can create different email templates for all of your e-commerce stuff. We're going to go over that in another video, and you can just see all sorts of stuff. So what I want to do is I'm going to log into my MailChimp account right now, and I'm going to show you a couple of things inside an account that actually has some data in it. Okay, so we are in my personal account. Well, this is one of them. And you can see my list is 272,000 people. Mind you, I've only had 85,000 orders. All right, but I've got 272,000 people. And that's because of the little trick I just showed you in Shopify settings. So only 85,000 people out of this 270K are actual buyers. That means close to 190,000 subscribers or extra subscribers I picked up, just showing you that one little tip in the settings of Shopify. And that's why my email list makes me so much money. So here's what you can do once you actually have data. First off, you'll see this number start to increase, okay? It's real time and it will increase as you get more subscribers. But now you can come up here to reports and you can start tracking the income your campaigns are generating. So when you click on reports, it's going to let you view the revenue that you're generating. And if you hover your mouse over it, it tells you the subject line. So you can see mine. I said congratulations. And that email generated for me $16,000. Think about that. That's huge. 16 grand on one email. It's just absolutely absurd. And that's because MailChimp connects to Shopify, helps me build a huge list. And if you scroll down, you'll also notice it tells you what your top email campaigns were and how much money they generated for you and how much money you've generated since you started. Now, I didn't start using MailChimp until December. I started my store in July. So I got in really late to the game. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do everything the way it should be done right out of the gate. And since December, I've made 100, and let's round it up to 140K in sales just using email marketing with MailChimp. All right, so this is an amazing platform to do email marketing from. You can do some really cool stuff that I'm going to show you here in the next couple of videos on MailChimp. So I'm going to give you the exact template that I use for email marketing so you can copy that. Just make sure you sign up for an account, you connect it to your Shopify store, and you start collecting leads ASAP. This is a must-do thing. This is one of the first things you should do before you ever start making sales, so you start creating a big email list out of the gate. That's it. I'll see you on the next video.